someone who believes deeply in the responsibility of government to deliver for working class people, I also believe it's our responsibility to deliver a government that's efficient, with every single dollar being put to the best possible use. That's why 2 months ago, I asked agencies across city government to find $1.7 billion in savings without compromising essential services. Here are just a few things we've found so far. Even just by capping how much we spend on paper, pens, and office supplies, we're going to save more than $27 million. The city was paying for a lot of work from outside contractors that was costing us far too much. So we're bringing a lot of that work in-house and saving our budget millions on things like IT services and software. We've also found that sometimes we've been overcharged for life-saving medicine, like naloxone. So we're renegotiating that contract and saving another $1 million. Our contract with McKinsey at the Department of Social Services, no more. That's $9 million that we won't be spending next year. The city rents lots of property it doesn't actually need. So we're going to shrink our physical footprint and save millions on leases. And we want to make sure that the programs we're delivering to New Yorkers are being used as intended. So we're going to strengthen verification to ensure that homeowners getting tax breaks are actually living in that home. This adds up to another $13 million a year. You've heard me say this time and again. In fighting a $5.4 billion fiscal deficit, we need to tax the rich and end to the drain that's been our relationship with the state for far too long. As we pursue that, though, we also have to take a close look at our own spending and cut waste wherever we can. When we're looking to put our city back on firm financial footing, no saving is too small. We'll keep you posted every step of the way, because to deliver public goods, you have to first deliver public excellence.
Yo.
Did you see the Eric Adams reference in there?
Yeah.
He reached behind the portrait and took out the money the same way as he did with
it's like, look, crack. What? Nothing.
Behind this portrait, you can find bullets.
Weed. Crack cocaine.
Yeah,
even. Razor blades.
But this is the Absurdity Space. I'm Forrest Miller. I'm here with Christina Oakes, and we're talking for the last time for a couple weeks, I guess.
Yeah, my nose is deciding whether or not it has to sneeze right now, so bear with me.
Shout out to Melted Solids is the name of, and Deb, and I forget the guy's name that she's partnered with, that they're the ones that do the ad. Anthony DiMieri, I think they're the ones that do the ads for Zoran's team.
Yeah, nice. And they work too, because I mean he's doing like a hands-on approach where it's like, if there's one thing people love learning and finding out and discovering, how much taxpayer dollars can be saved.
Yeah, people
like they eat that shit up. And he's like one of the few people who does that. Like Eric Adams wasn't, and even Cuomo, they weren't doing that shit.
Or when they did, it was like in the middle of, Cuomo would do those long presentations that were like basically live streamed. And
boring.
It wouldn't be like in a nicely cut video, which you saw. You still see even people who have politics very different to Zoran's copy his style of video, the walk and talk.
Yes, walking and talking. This is what the kids want, right? No, you need some charisma and policy while doing it. And
they do the hand signals, like he always does this. He's like right here, which I don't know. I mean, do
they hire body language experts to help them immolate, kind of like that Polly Bennett did with like Austin Butler and Rami Malek? Like, is that what they're doing now?
I don't know, but it's just like there's such a good like to it. He's like I'll tell you this, but there is some point I feel like where he's gonna have to switch it up a little bit too. Which I mean, it's good that they did the little Eric Adams style, and stuff. Like he switched it up a little bit, because at some point, like just kind of walking and talking definitely could get a little old. But I mean, it goes.
He needs to do like bungee jumping or upside down, or like jumping in the water, jump in the Hudson, do something.
He's like, I'm saving money. Okay, maybe not in this video where I'm bungee jumping, but I spent the money to show you that I'm making money. I had another clip that
maybe hire like actual people to like maybe like real New Yorkers that he's interviewed in the past to do the ads for him. Like, look at all the money I feel like that could be effective, because it'll be like, we're tired of seeing him. What about people?
The worst was when Cuomo tried to make an ad where he AI'd all the people into it. He did AI art, and he's like, I'm doing all kinds of jobs. I could be a construction worker.
Yeah, and it was like, nah. I mean, I feel like the people that he interviewed like the day after the election, where he was like, I'm running for mayor, those people definitely, I feel like would have definitely could make an impact in like if they did ads with those people.
Yeah. This happened today with Zoran too. I thought it was funny.
The heckler.
Yeah, but this the guy that was the heckler, right? Is he's a oops. Oh no.
He sucks at it.
But he's a homeless guy, and his whole thing is that he only heckles people, like he heckles everyone that's trying to deliver housing, even though he's homeless, which is like one of the crazier hecklers that we've seen in New York City. I feel like
today, in accordance with the fact that we love that in New York City you're going to hear it from everybody. It wouldn't be our city if there wasn't somebody on the block.
These stores are on the block.
Be able to afford to keep living in New York City. Because the day that I don't hear him yelling at me, it means he got priced out of this place. And I don't want that. I don't want that for him. I don't want that for anybody in this city. We need to make this a city where it's affordable enough to yell at your politicians. If it's not that city, it's not the city I want to live in. Let's be clear about it. So let this be a city where we have this, where we worry about, are the Knicks going to win the championship? Or we ask ourselves, why is a $9 latte $9? Let this not be a city where we ask ourselves, is government doing enough to build affordable housing as quickly as it can? Today starts to answer that final question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that guy's the guy that bit a Mamdani staffer when there was there was that one time.
Maybe he needs to be in a mental hospital.
He's in a homeless shelter. He's in a homeless shelter, and his big thing is that he heckles anyone that's trying to build housing. It's one of the stranger things of our time.
Is it I mean, you know what's so weird though? There are people who do choose to be homeless. It's like the rare thing. I heard a story from one of my my professors. She was like, this guy, she's like, my uncle was rich, had it all. But then he decided to give that all up and live on the streets and be like a musician and get money that way. And it's just, and I'm like, yeah, but if I had all that money, I wouldn't want to do that though. Like that seems nice. Like, but I mean, he's probably one of those types that's like makes that like his personality. I mean, he could become a TikToker doing that shit. Is he?
Well, he has a YouTube channel. So Raul Rivera is his name, which I mean, perhaps perhaps there's a little Cuban in there, but but no, he originally went like viral because he was at a New York City when Eric Adams was doing the City of Yes, like his plan to his like YIMBY approved housing plan, where he finally realized, oh, maybe I have to actually have some policies that aren't just adding more cops to places and closing down places so I can add more cops to other places. Yeah. He did City of Yes, which is his like NIMBY inspired housing program, which Mamdani actually did sign on to. And Raul Rivera he like came on. He's like 54 years old. He's homeless. I think he's just really mentally ill. I think that's his problem. But he's turned that into being like good at heckling politicians, I guess. But there was the one time where there was a Mamdani staffer that was trying to separate him. He was getting too close, and he actually bit the guy.
I'm surprised Fox News hasn't interviewed this guy. He would be like
they definitely have.
It's like the surfer who's like on food stamps type thing, and I'm like, I remember when that was a big deal, and then like what's his name, Stuart Varney was like 98% of houses, poor people have refrigerators. I'm like, yeah, all houses do, you dumb fuck. that was a weird one. I'm like, in a world where like landlines are dying out, people are gonna have cell phones. Like that was just a weird thing. I remember when I was like, really, people eat this shit up? Like my uncle was that way. I'm like, you have a refrigerator.
Remember the Obama phones?
Yeah.
Obama was like trying to, because people have to get to like it was like immigrants that were here because they have to actually be in communication with
like the lawyers and stuff.
Yeah, and with like DHS and stuff like that. So the government would buy them like burner phones or whatever, and then they were like, cheap. They're like the Obama phones.
They're getting these nice iPhones. I'm like, now they're getting like old flip phones from like 2006. It's really not that, not like, I mean, so Trump's doing that shit now with he basically gave Nicki Minaj a gold card that said you're a citizen now. And I'm like, that's not how it works, though.
Do you want to talk about Trump voting via mail-in voting?
Yes, because again, and this is so funny. Again, hypocrisy. My uncle, after stuff went down. His car got blown up. He owed a bunch of, drug dealer stuff. He moved down here after being in debt. He moved down here. So he registered to vote in the state of South Carolina, right? Once all that cleared up, he moved back up to Jersey. Did he change his voter registration to the state of New Jersey? No, we had to do mail-in ballots for him. Guess who's against mail-in ballots now?
Yeah, well, this is just crazy because Trump's whole thing is that it's cheating to do mail-in ballots, and then his ballot that he just did for his ballot that he just did for in Florida was a mail-in ballot, which makes sense because he's all the way in DC, so of course he has to do it by mail-in ballot. He's not going to go home.
Yeah, he has to vote. He wants to vote in the Florida elections. He has to do it that way.
But his I don't know, it just stops making sense when your entire
personality policy is that. But that's to be expected of Trump.
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid. Like, and yet they're like, well, he's the president of the United States, or politicians should be able to do that. No, there are people who are fighting overseas who have to vote.
Well,
what do they do?
If it's cheating, it's cheating for everyone, right? Like, it's But I guess the Democratic candidate, as of today, they officially flipped the seat that the state seat that
Mar-a-Lago's in the district. Yeah, that's crazy. And what's so interesting? And I've said this before. You agree with me? The Democratic Party, like the DNC, is nowhere to be found in these elections.
Yeah,
which I think is smart. It really goes to show that you don't need the Nationals' help.
Democrats are projected to win a special election for a Florida legislative district that includes Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in Palm Beach, marking another upset in the president's backyard. Democrat Emily Gregory, a first-time candidate, defeated Trump-backed Republican John Maples. Is he related to Marla Maples? For the open Florida District 87 State House seat. So it's the State House. It's not the it's not in Congress or anything. But the result is a reversal from 2024 when a Republican won a district by 19 percentage points.
Damn.
So I think they're treating this as like a harbinger for the electoral defeat for Trump's party. That's going to come in the future. But I mean, I don't know if that's the case because it already seems like the 2026 midterm elections are a shit show. But,
especially considering, over 30 Republicans are not seeking re-election in the House. They know that once Trump dies, MAGA dies with it. JD Vance has no risk. They want to, jump ship before Democrats do something. What are they going to do? They're not going to do anything. If I'm tired of being blamed for why Kamala lost, I'm like, no. Trump shouldn't have ran for re-election in the first place. He should have been in fucking prison for doing an insurrection. But Merrick Garland and Biden, they're like, we don't want to be going after our political opponents. We don't want to be mean. And it's like, if insurrection is not a litmus test, then what is?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of, I didn't really expect that they were going to throw anybody.
No,
because once they did that, it would be breaking the seal, and then I think every president would try to throw their next person in jail because every president breaks both international and national law, and it's like
lock her up. Oh wait, they're good people.
I understand why it's like why they don't want to do that, but we need somebody to come in here and throw all of them away.
not be a fucking coward, because everyone's like, we need to win the House. We got to elect Democrats. I'm like, okay, cool. What are they gonna do though when they're in office?
But I don't know, now with the Supreme Court and stuff, they ruled that you can't really throw they made it a lot harder to throw somebody who's been president into prison.
Yeah, I mean, Bolsonaro gets house arrest. Basically, he gets to do jail from home because his health.
I feel like that's not a good sign of things to come. And that his son is running against Lula. I think this year.
Yeah.
It's I think it's Flavio Bolsonaro.
They all look so bad, and they all look like him, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah. So I had a couple weird stories because I'm just the MAGA has been swooning over a beautiful army soldier and her pro-Trump message, but she is AI. So this
shit.
And so they had an AI woman that's depicted Jessica Foster wearing heels on a U.S. warship on the Strait of Hormuz, posing for selfies with Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, giving a speech at the president's Board of Peace earlier this year. The account, which has since been taken down, gained more than 1 million followers since its mysterious creator started posting on it 4 months ago. I think somewhere it said that account has gotten some like because it was an OnlyFans account. The OnlyFans account attached to it apparently had gotten like over $1 million or something through.
Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing with my life? But it's also like the TikTok Fruit Island TikTok. That's nothing but AI. That's like the fastest growing TikTok, and they finally deleted it. It had like over like 9 billion people or whatever. And it's like, yeesh. How I don't know how people can watch AI content. Like,
I mean, it's so obviously AI.
yeah.
Foster's account is another example of how AI is being used to push political agendas, particularly in wartime, as experts warn that creators are attempting to lure social media users to paid platforms. I don't know. It's just crazy. Like,
honestly, you know what? I don't mind this because it's scamming MAGA out of their money, so I'm for it.
Yeah, but it feels like it's.
But they're also hypocrites for paying for OnlyFans, right? Like, but it's like because you're going to talk about the manosphere thing. It's like, you know, the one guy's like, it's okay for me to pimp out women to do OnlyFans because I'm also getting a big cut of that money. They're not doing it independently.
I finally watched the Manosphere, the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary.
They really crumble so fast under very little pushback. It really goes to show that these men need to be more out in the open and not at home from like their podcasting studios.
The thing that I was struck with over and over again is that he would go and start to interview these guys, and their chat would just go, "Oh man, Louis Theroux, you're gonna get destroyed by him." And before he even had a chance to say very much, they would start freaking out and start talking all this shit and saying that like Louis Theroux is like, you know, he's gonna tar me as well, all these things, and he's freaking out, and then he would I don't know, I just found it funny that like the insecurity was so much on these things that their chat could turn them against, and then the guy would suddenly not be there anymore. He would try to lead Louis Theroux to a different place and disappear again. And it's
it's just fascinating because I mean we haven't heard from Jordan Peterson in like what 2 years now. Like what the fuck's he been doing?
I thought he was like dead.
That's what I thought too, because it's like it's like this thing is finally like, you know, this whole thing that's been building up for years has finally reached its peak and it's starting to crumble finally, you know. So
the only person who looked okay at the like during the Louis Theroux documentary was Sneeko looked all right, but I feel like part of that was
the guy who sniffed Andrew Tate's seat. Yeah, that guy. That was weird.
But I feel like that guy is like he's at least personable. And I feel like it's because he seemed more like a normal person than the rest of them did.
Yeah, there was that one video that he was with a bunch of like 10-year-olds who were like, you know, kill women, fuck the gays, da 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 da, or something like that. And he's like, oh shit, what have I done? I'm like, yeah, you idiot. Oh, he's doing it again. Cool. Maybe this time he should have just. I mean, that's what fucked up Jordan Peterson's brain was because the doctors were like, no, we can't be doing this. He's got to go to rehab and withdraw like a normal person.
Yeah, that was such a weird thing because at the same time his daughter dropped him off there and then flew to Romania and was like staying at Andrew Tate's house for like a day and then came back and was like, I've just been and like, but it's all while he was in a coma. It can't be good for you to put you in a coma to like. It can't like they
speed up the process of like sobriety. That's not how that works.
Well, it is. So with benzos, it really does. That is the most dangerous withdrawal of any drug. Like it's more dangerous than even like heroin, pretty much, because more people die from benzo withdrawal if they've been doing that much of
he could have went to a methadone clinic, you know, and get hooked on that instead. You know, like you got
benzos, but they don't really have a version of that for benzos.
Yeah,
I don't think. But like there are people that in rehab will die from benzo withdrawals. It really fucks up your body to try to withdraw from it, which is why it's so highly addictive, because you're just like, ironically, they're all anxiety drugs, but like the levels of anxiety that you get after withdrawing from them is like really, really tough. Like it's
well, I mean, like even with alcoholism, my dad loved his Budweisers. Even getting off of that, because he knew he had to quit like all alcohol. That was rough. My mom was like,
no, alcohol and benzos are like the two worst ones. But with alcohol, it's because you get like delirium tremens and your body starts shaking and like your body feels like you need it.
You need the sugar. That's what it really is. It's almost like you're withdrawing from like the sugar in the alcohol, which is why my mom was like, I had to stack up on a bunch of candy for your father.
Yeah, candy definitely, from what I've heard, helps. But well, I mean, once you get to that stage, the difference between the two, I guess, is that it takes a long time for you to get so hooked on alcohol that like your body does start having those kinds of withdrawals. but
Yeah.
like those are like super real for people. And then benzo, pretty much like you can literally die from withdrawing from them, which you wouldn't think, but like those are like the two most dangerous ones. I mean, then obviously you have like you know, you have like a heroin withdrawal, but you can at least get methadone for that. I don't think the other.
Yeah.
But they're starting to have a lot of drugs though that for alcohol withdrawals, like that they help you not crave it or whatever.
Yeah, it's like alcohol, but you don't get drunk type of thing. Like it's like a good like substitute these days. I see them advertised all the time. It's like it makes you feel good, but not like drunk. Like, and it has no alcohol in it. And I'm like,
and there's also stuff that there's certain like drugs that'll make it so that either you get really sick, like every time, like if you were to take a drink, you'd get really sick. So you
I remember learning about those.
Yeah, or there's ones where your body will no longer react to the alcohol. So it's like even if you did relapse, like
though I feel bad for people who eat bread because, you know, starch is in a lot of alcohol and their body breaks it down in a way that actually produces the alcohol to make them drunk. And there are people like, I've never had alcohol drink in my life. And they're like, really? And so they go to the doctors and they're like, well, what do you consume? They're like, well, I eat bread, a lot of grains. And they're like, that's why your body breaks starch down in a way that it produces like the alcohol. And it's like, I was looking it up and I was like, that's so weird. Imagine I love bread. Like how can you give up bread? Like that's sad. Because starch is like the number one like thing to make bread the way it is.
Yeah, well, it's like beer like beer and bread have always had like a very similar like process for, you know, the same kind of yeast and stuff like that.
Seeing the people get so hammered and they're like, I just had, you know, a lot of bread. And it's like, damn. Did you want to briefly talk about the New York Post saying smoking cigarettes is cool again? When was it ever cool?
Oh, that's
maybe in the 40s.
I mean, for a long time, that was like the sales point, because for a while, right, the sales point was like smoking cigarettes like relaxes you and all this stuff. And
but it's a stimulant. That's a false thing. It's actually smoking cigarettes is a stimulant. It just gives you the idea.
It is a stimulant, but it does relax you, like
to the point where you need another one.
Yeah.
And then another.
But like when I had to quit smoking, right? Like I started smoking when I was 15. Or like I might have even been 14, but like 14, 15. And
my mom was 12. Jesus.
Yeah, we've talked about that. But yeah, so I was like 14 or 15 and I'd just gotten into like high school and I hadn't gone there, and like I kind of wanted people like to be like, oh, at least he has one cool habit, and I wasn't gonna start drinking yet or anything like that. So I was but I got to the point where I was chain smoking like a pack and a half a day when I was in college, and that's when I finally quit, because I was like, because New York kept raising the price of cigarettes, and it got to like the point where it was like
that's not enough to quit for my mom.
Pack. I was like, there's gonna be a point where like I'm buying multiple packs of cigarettes a day and I can't afford rent. So I was like, because my mom smokes 2 packs a day, and that's like with like the Circle K discount, whatever, 50 cents. It's like $20 a day. Yeah.
Actually, no, it's 21 now because they've raised the prices a little bit again.
It took me like 8 times to quit smoking though, like 8 times quitting, and like I would get because I would go to the bar or something and people would be smoking outside, and it's just like all of a sudden I had to like stay by the bar if I was gonna, because every time I would go out it would be like a craving that I would have. So it like took a while to do that because I was in college at the time, so it was like, you know, that's where I was going to hang out with people.
Yeah, the first time, see, my Uma quit smoking in her 60s because it was after my aunt died from lung cancer. I don't know what it is about my Uma, but she has stronger willpower than compared to my mom. I don't get it. I'm like, how did you end up being such a weak woman compared to your mother who's strong, right? She used Chantix, right? Remember Chantix? That was everybody was taking that. There were some warnings. My Uma, she did it straight through. Very little side effects. My mom took it, right? She took the beginner's pack. I think that was like affordable, cheaper, or free. Then after 1 month, she stopped doing it. Then she got back on the Chantix, and that's when she had all the side effects, like the nightmares and the panic attacks and this and that. I'm like, well, you quit cold turkey, and then you started again. That's not good. That's not, because I think my sister and I are the only grandkids, nieces, and nephews of my mom's side of family who don't smoke. Everyone else does.
I like this though. Fuck, I hate that there's all these paywall things. Wait, hold on.
Oh, wait. Oh, so our channel is a political channel.
Yeah, when we talk about the news and what's going on and
fun stuff.
But but smoking is cool again. Here's what you need to know. On FX's wild popular series Love Story, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy looks incredibly chic in her 90s minimalist outfits, taking casual drags from her cigarettes. Fast forward to a fictional world of 2026, Rachel Sennow's Maya on HBO's I Love LA, lighting up cool as a cucumber. Offset girls like Bella Hadid, Addison Rae, Kylie Jenner are glamorous, puffing away for the paps. Who the fuck paparazzi the paps?
Well, I mean, also it's giving, in a way, with like we live in the Ozempic culture where everyone's getting a little bit thinner than usual these days. The heroin chic aesthetic is back, which means very, very thin and smoking cigarettes.
Yeah,
and thin eyebrows and straight blonde hair.
And
like that
is and hollow cheeks because everybody now.
Yeah, the buccal fat removal, which by the way does not look good because there's baby fat that you lose, but buccal fat doesn't go away. That's like the fat that's really needed in your cheeks. So when you're Ozempicing your body, you're gonna look like Karen Carpenter. You're gonna look like fucking like skin to bones. It's not good. But also too, and we discussed this in our chat. The millennials. A lot of people wonder why millennials look so young, but I'm like, first of all, again, the skincare that we were using was like powerful. We were using SPF for staying out of the sun. Also, we were not smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. We were the generation to like slow down the process of smoking.
Yeah, although I did know
vaping.
I knew like a good amount of people that smoked. And
I knew that too, and they look horrible.
Yeah,
they're the only exception to the millennial like, oh, we look so young trend, right?
But
then vaping,
other generations.
Yeah, then vaping became a thing, and they marketed it to Gen Z, and that made also big tobacco be like, we gotta make smoking cigarettes cool again. We're gonna ban vaping because now they're doing all this, so that became its own like Pandora's box, and now smoking cigarettes is cool again.
I just don't get this article. It's official. Hollywood has brought back cigarettes, and their TV, movies, and celebs say they're cool. They are.
Did they ever stop though?
It's bled into the real world too. Young people are soaking in their own blissful nicotine. This has got to be a lobbyist for the tobacco company.
Yeah. I mean, because it's cigarette smell lingers. It stays on you. Your nails look yellow. Like it's.
But I'm just saying the way that this is phrased. Like it has to be somebody that's. I should look up who does it.
Yeah.
Everything you need to know. This is bad. All right. Well, then maybe not. Literally nothing, but we know about the risk. This switched to like a hard.
Whoa! It's like smoking. But wait. However, it's actually not good.
They got the tobacco lobbyist guy on the first half, and then they switched over to someone else.
Yeah.
Literally nothing about what we know of the risk of smoking cigarettes is controversial. Even things like seed oils, fluoride, and vaccines have stirred up eyebrow-raising mix of contentious opinions lately.
Yeah, but those are good for you. Smoking is not.
No big deal.
Also, too, now it's getting to a point where parents are not letting their
and they got Rachel Snow doing the taking in a big old puff, and then it's like
I mean, look at Lily Rose Depp in that stupid Idol show. She smokes. A lot of these models smoke. Another way to stay thin. But like now it's
Rachel Snow had a Subway takes where she's like, everyone should try at least one addictive thing. And then she once in their lives, and then everyone was just like roasting her in the comments of it. She was talking about, she's like, I tried smoking cigarettes and then I quit. And then it's like, I don't know.
Did you quit though?
New York Post doesn't think so.
Yeah, but now also too, it's getting to the point, like with the vaccines, is that parents are now denying their kids like other like their newborns like other treatments that they would like squirt in our mouths or whatever. Which is not good because we all knew it was not going to end with vaccines. It's going to start like other little medical things that we would need as newborns and infants. So
yeah, it's just crazy that like Trump's the one that started like the Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah, and he's like, it was a bad idea. It was maybe I should not have done that.
But some people didn't agree with it. I'm like, are they not going to hold him accountable for that then? Like his own voters, they're like. Like he was like, I don't know, it wasn't Biden that started Operation Warp Speed. It was Trump.
I love when like the like Department of Health or whatever has like photos of RFK Jr. Like this is the man that's gonna let us eat real food again. And I'm like, where are the photos of him after he developed a heroin addiction? You guys were using photos when he was an infant to like before he was 17. What about after?
Did you see the one? Wait, I gotta find the exact wording of this. But there was the this one was really weird. So RFK Jr. Right? So they found his like diary things or whatever.
Uh-oh.
So this article is
Oh yeah, wait,
right.
did do it. Oh,
what
what?
do you say RFK Jr. did to a dead raccoon's penis?
He ate it?
It's impossible to imagine a world without Robert F. Kennedy Jr. not launching back to 1905, where everyone died of measles, because every third headline about him is the most twisted jumble of a fever dream reporting.
Yeah.
Over the weekend,
Olivia,
New York
what
Post
the fuck?
published excerpts from its investigative reporter Isabel Vincent's upcoming book, RFK Jr. The Fall and Rise, out April 14th. The angle being that Vincent got access to 3 of his secret journals in 2013. Has been since digging through 1,200 pages of RFK's life and his deepest thoughts. Among these journal entries, he apparently wrote about chopping off a raccoon's penis. Yeah, we're not really sure what to say either. The excerpt reads, it would foreshadow Bobby's later life, such as when he scooped up a road-killed bear on New York State Highway in 2014, dumping it in Central Park when he realizes he needed to catch a plane. In his diary, he writes about cutting off the penis off of a road-killed raccoon in 2001 while his kids waited patiently in the car so he could examine it later.
Okay.
My question was, what do you think he was gonna do? What do you think he did with the raccoon's penis?
I think he was gonna eat it. He's over eating roadkill.
What's the Is that the sound the raccoon?
I don't think that's the sound the raccoon makes. Oh, we got a question though about Iran.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we should be concerned that Iran's leader turned down Trump's ceasefire proposal, because I don't think Iran's is not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop this war. It kind of wants us to invade because it's ready for us to invade, and they've been ready for us to invade. And yeah, I had it in the notes that there's gonna be they're sending 2,000 troops to Iran.
And I run so far away to the nearest military base that's gonna get bombed.
So they're talking about sending 2,000 troops in already.
Yay!
There's talk about the Pentagon is supposedly dispatching 2,000 troops. How is that not putting boots on the ground? And you said we're not at war. How is that not an escalation of war in Iran?
Look, I think it sends a signal to Iran that they better get their act together. We need to resolve this quickly, and that's the president's interest, and that's ours. It's everyone's. We need to. Operation Epic Fury is almost done. I mean, I think the mission that was very clearly defined in the beginning, the objectives have been met. We have to get the Strait of Hormuz straightened out, and we need our international partners to help with that because it's a giant project that involves everybody around the world at some level. So I'm optimistic that's going to happen. The buildup of troops is very different than boots on the ground. We don't have boots on the ground. I don't think that's the intention, but I think Iran should watch that buildup, and they need to take note of that. They have to.
Wait, so if there's no troops on the ground, it doesn't mean there's a war. Okay, then what was the point of the Japanese bombing us during Pearl Harbor? Was that not like a declaration of like war?
I mean, I don't know. They could have said, I guess, oh, it's not a war, we're just bombing. But like that's been
you need like the official declaration, like this is the war of Iran, like kind of like how it's like
yeah, because we haven't declared a war since Korea. I think every war we've had since Korea has been technically undeclared. So they always say, well, it's either a police action or it's like there's a bunch of different like euphemisms they use for it, but as long like you don't need a separate declaration of war if you don't declare a war. And it's like it's one of those Orwellian kind of turns of phrase that I'm always thinking about, that are like, because during the Bush administration really is where a lot of this kind of stuff kicked off, where it was like they really just
it's not really a war, because I mean it's been going on for like 30 years now. Like it's unless there was like the 30 years war or something, like
they called it kinetic action, and they've been using that phrase a lot more recently. But Donald Rumsfeld, his big thing was it was not a war, it's a kinetic action. Every time troops were involved with it.
Okay, I guess.
Or they say it's a military intervention, and that's kind of I think where the whole regime change thing started. It's like, oh, it's not a war, it's nation building. It's not a war.
Every time I hear transphobes ask what is a woman, I'm like, what is a war?
I don't know if anyone even has an answer to that one.
Yeah. That shit's
because like the rules I think are, it's pretty much that Congress declares war, essentially. Like Congress needs to vote on it, and then the president declares war, but Congress has to vote on the war starting. And as long as they don't call it a war, Congress never actually has to vote on it. Which I mean, the Democrats don't want to vote on it because they had this talk the other day about Gregory Meeks, like the representative. He just got enough people to vote onto or to sign on to possibly doing his Iran war. What do you call it? War powers bill.
Yeah.
And just enough people signed on to it. Then he said, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do it." Like,
yeah, I've noticed that a lot where it's like people, they'll vote for something like the Lake and Riley Act. They're like, "Oh, I regret it." I'm like, well, if it's in honor of a woman that's being politicized by the right, yeah, Democrats don't vote for it. It's the same thing that we see with some of the Democrats who are like, I'm gonna vote in favor of Mark Wade Mullen being, head of DHS or whatever. And you got Rand Paul over here like, no, what are you doing?
So critics slam Meeks and Jeffries for pushing off war powers bill just to get enough votes to pass. Democratic Party leaders are under fire after it was reported that they plan to wait until mid-April to hold a vote to rein in President Donald Trump's power to wage war with Iran. Punchbowl News reported on Tuesday that U.S. House lawmakers had abandoned plans to hold a vote this week on a war powers resolution introduced by Gregory Meeks, the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. With a 2-week recess beginning next week, postponing the vote means the earliest Democrats could force it again is April 13th. And I think, I mean, there isn't enough numbers in either case to like actually stop it because the Republicans have, although it's a lot closer in the House than it is in the Senate. But there's at least enough. There's like so. I guess the plan that they were having to put it on the floor. There was a 4 pro-war Democrat margin. It was Henry Cuellar.
It's the rotating villains. It's those same Democrats that always vote in favor of a Republican agenda and against a Democratic agenda.
But it's Greg Landman.
Landman.
But I guess so. They had convinced the 4 Democrats that had voted against it last time to vote for it because you can obviously just vote for because it's a resolution. It's a resolution to force a vote, right? Like it's not a resolution that would actually start the process of the vote. So you can vote for that resolution and then you can vote against, or against invoking war powers.
Yeah, listen, if a Republican comes up with something that is like pro-war, anti-trans, whatever, I'm like, sorry, I'm not going to vote for it. I'm not going to vote for something that's going to, move Trump's agenda along,
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's a fixation on the concept of bipartisanship that nobody wants to be seen as being a partisan actor in the Congress, but maybe not nobody, but there's a lot of people that don't want to be seen as being a partisan actor. So yeah.
But the thing is, and you'll definitely agree with me on this. There are more Democrats that are bipartisan than Republicans. There's like maybe like 1 or 2. Like Rand Paul has become more and more like his dad, a bit more libertarian, like more like because he's very not for Trump. Like he's someone who's like, oh, it's Rand Paul to vote against this thing that was supposed to be helpful or useful to Trump, and it's like okay. Because he's one of the few.
Rand Paul, and then there's Massey. I think they have
Thomas Massey.
Yeah. They have pretty similar views on things. I mean, they're on the far more like libertarian side of because there's obviously like the conservative side, which they don't necessarily have to believe in a smaller government. They don't necessarily have to believe in lower spending. In fact, Republicans often have more spending. It's just on a very different things like tax cuts.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I will give Rand Paul credit for sticking around and kind of being a foil to Trump because what the fuck is a Mitch McConnell doing? He stopped Obama. Trump happened, and he realized, oh, that's kind of bad.
Rand Paul's voted with Trump enough times that he hasn't kind of gotten to this position where Thomas Massey has. Where it's also the Epstein thing has the same kind of thing where it's like. I think Thomas Massey really antagonized Trump with trying to release the Epstein files when Trump didn't want to, and really like pulling that to the front. But Trump endorsed a primary challenger for Thomas Massey.
Yeah, because it gets to the point where it's like, whatever happened to Paul Ryan? Wasn't he supposed to be the future for the GOP? I'm like, yeah, but not the GOP that became whatever the fuck Trumpism, happened with it.
Yeah, he was
Like,
never gonna survive very long. He's like a health insurance lobbyist now, though.
Go figure.
And then remember John Boehner?
Yeah, anti-weed, but he's like a hemp lobbyist or whatever the fuck now.
No, he has a weed company. He just has a straight up weed company.
I love the fact that when Obama left, he did that video and he's like, Obama's like, there's only one person who can relate to me. And it was like a video with John Boehner. And I was like, really? Okay. I guess. He's like, think how great. Like, it's so funny that, I forgot, I made the video somewhere on YouTube, but it's like, he decides to do like his last, like, hurrah with John Boehner. Okay.
So Israel plans to control large parts of southern Lebanon, defense minister says. Israel Cat. It's so funny. Israel Cats is the name of their defense minister. Suggested that Israeli troops might remain in parts of Lebanon even after the fighting there winds down. So basically, they're trying to take parts of what's seen as kind of the base for Hezbollah and annex it into. It sounds a lot like they're planning for Greater Israel. If I'm listening to this, But it's funny that a lot of people took this New York Times article and they pointed out like when Russia annexes parts of Ukraine, right? Like it's very clearly Russia invades Ukraine, annexes parts of it, and it's Israel plans to control large parts of southern Lebanon.
But of course, that's not the same thing, though. Russia should not be invading countries like Ukraine. Ukraine solidarity. One Ukraine. This is different because.
Reasons.
It's Israel. It's Israel. It's different. Israel's the good guys. They always have, always will be.
But it's Israel's defense minister said on Tuesday the country's military plans to expand the territory under its control in southern Lebanon, suggesting it was ramping up its ground offensive against the Iranian-backed militia Hezbollah. In a statement, Israel Katz said Israel will retain control of territory south of the Litani River, which runs a few miles from the Israeli-Lebanese border at its closest point and is 15 to 20 miles away at its farthest. The river has long served as a geographic boundary and conflict between Israel and Hezbollah, which, they've had like several conflicts now. I mean, there's 2006 Israel-Lebanon war, the 1982 Israel-Lebanon war, where it kind of Hezbollah was introduced as a character on the world stage.
March Madness. We got Hezbollah. We've got ISIS. Maybe we've got Hamas.
But 1982 is when that happened. The
World Series began, right?
I was going back and looking at the stuff about Roald Dahl, and I always kind of just assumed that like the thing about him being anti-Semitic or whatever was just true. Like, because I remember during 2020. They were like, oh, he's anti-Semitic, and they had like a couple quotes. I learned this week, I was looking more into it, and it's because in 1982 he wrote this review of a book about Israel's invasion of Lebanon, and he was very critical of Israel. And they sent this columnist for the New Statesman to his house to basically say, oh, I'd love to interview you about your review and about your life. And the guy basically like cornered him in conversation. And basically was calling him anti-Semitic, and he kind of at the end of the interview he was trying to get him to say something anti-Semitic so they could put it down, and like railroad him. And literally the New Statesman was like, this guy's written 1,000 articles about it, and he's just been pushing like the Roald Dahl is anti-Semitic. Yeah, and he finally like said something like, well, if he was like, well, there must be something in the Jewish character, which, I mean, this is not a good quote. And I'm not like saying that he should have said, but he's like, there's something in the Jewish character that must breed all this animosity. Like he's like, even a stinker like Hitler must have had some kind of reason or something like that.
Oh, and yeah. Don't be saying that shit, dude. That's definitely going to be like giving you a fucking anti-Semitic label. Don't be saying Hitler. Don't be like Candace Owens and say, Hitler was good.
But that's not what he was saying. He was saying that like, I think he was talking about like stereotypes in the, I don't know. They've got this article behind a big paywall, the actual one from 1983. So I was trying to get into it to read it.
This is Ronald Dahl 1983 bullshit, like.
But they had like this guy, and he's also he was like a priest moonlighting as a columnist for the New Statesman, which is like one of the big conservative papers in the UK. And since then, this guy has gone all over the place, and he's written, "I was the guy who exposed Rodol's anti-Semitism, and like I was the person who like he's like article after article after article. Like I grabbed a bunch of them.
He
yesterday.
mentions that on all of his articles, right?
Yeah, and so they wrote a play about it, and John Lithgow plays anti-Semitic Roald Dahl, and
yeah.
but like when you actually look into it, like the first time he ever got accused of anti-Semitism was over the Israel-Lebanon stuff, and then this guy, the big quote that they constantly put out there was his quote to this guy who came to his house to like pretty much harass him into saying something anti-Semitic, which obviously he did because he was very fucking trigger happy. There's another quote that he later said where he was like, "This is the worst thing you could possibly say, I think, if you're trying to beat the anti-Semitism allegations." But he says something like, "Oh, I guess I'm anti-Semitic in the same way that that Jews in Britain are like, you know, some Jews in Britain are like Zionists to that level, right? Where like Israel could do no wrong, but they just they just cut it down to, yeah, I guess I'm anti-Semitic."
Yeah. What the? Okay. Yeah.
But they wrote this like big play about it, and
I can't read his books anymore. I mean, how is it okay for you? Because he wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like the original, like Willy Wonka. Yeah. So like, you know, with the Harry Potter reboot trailer dropping, people are mad, and I'm debating people. They're like, well, if you're gonna, you know, tell people if watching Harry Potter supports J.K. Rowling, then what about Roman Polanski and Woody Allen? I'm like, are they like trying to enact anti-trans legislation with their money that we give them? No, you can still watch Chinatown and Rosemary's Baby. What is happening here with J.K. Rowling is that she's like, you buy my books, you stream my Harry Potter stuff, what you are giving me money so that I can enact anti-trans legislation in the UK. Thank you. Thank you. Like, I'm like, that's not the same thing.
My thing with the Roald Dahl thing is like, I don't actually think he was anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
I think he was extremely like virulent. He was like, there were other things about him, like the way that he wrote about his service in the RAF was a little sus, but he's like he's also like he's a British guy from the early 20th century. Of course he was a little like, you know, but it really is his like his whole thing about
like the thing that's followed him the most, where it's like, hey, remember when you said
yeah, or like they literally just cut down a statement that he made to, yeah, I am anti-Semitic. He seemed like someone who, when he was pressed on stuff, did not. He
gets very irritated easily when you keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
And I think he did have other like things, but it's like that's the big one. And I remember 2020 being like, oh well, I believe this, but whatever. But like it's funny when you look into stuff later and you realize like no, like maybe he actually wasn't like anti-Semitic. So that's been going out, and then people will be like, well, that other quote about the Hitler thing, they're like that. It's like they like the stuff about Israel is kind of overshadowing that, and it's like, but you can't separate those two things. And the play is literally this guy who has written like hundreds of articles being like, I exposed, like if you're going to write something like that, like I wouldn't brag about it, be like, I exposed this guy's anti-Semitism. But when you actually read his writing about it, it's like, well, the editor of the New Statesman wanted me to go there because he criticized Israel and wanted me to press him on that. And it's like, don't admit that.
Yeah. Also, too, it's interesting because a lot of people are realizing that Netanyahu's not even originally from Israel. Like he's, you know, or that his name isn't Netanyahu. I'm like, guys, I hate to tell you this, but most Zionist Jews, they changed their name to sound more Israeli. Like Gal Gadot, her last name is Greenstein or something like that. I'm like, guys, you'd be amazed how many people do change their names if they're like very much Zionist.
You know what's the funniest thing about Netanyahu's original name?
What?
It's Malaykowski, but it's spelled Malay, like Javier Malay, like the Argentina. His name was originally Benjamin Malakowski.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground where I spend most of my days. Yeah. But people are like, wait, he's from Philadelphia? I'm like, yeah, he could actually run for president because he's been here. Like he's I'm like, God, you don't understand. Like I'm like, that accent's fake anyway.
Yeah. Well, his dad was from Poland, and then I think they moved from Poland to I think they moved. Well, or maybe his grandfather had moved from Ukraine to Poland. Like that's where Benjamin Netanyahu's family was originally
Yeah,
from.
none of these people are ethnically like is like a lot of people who are like, I'm indigenous to Israel. I'm like, no, that's no, unless you're Palestinian, yeah, but you're not. You are Hungarian and Russian Jew. There's no like if you look at like Gal Gadot was known for saying that a few years like during the Snow White debacle, and she's like, I'm indigenous to Israel, and everyone's like, no, you're not. It
I
would
just
say
like the
it would
indigenous
say on your
conversation.
Wikipedia page, like you're Hungarian.
The indigenous conversations I feel like kind of obscure, like because I don't think like Israelis are gonna leave Palestine, right? Like I
No.
think that I don't think Palestinians are gonna leave Palestine, and it's like you should like the thing that should be pushed for isn't like a conversation about who is or who isn't indigenous. Like
Yeah.
they live there now. It should be about like equal rights and a democracy.
Yeah.
And that's like that's a far more principled conversation. But like
Yeah.
the more you find out about stuff like Israeli archaeologists, they're just like they like reach into their house. They're like, "Hey, look what I found under this house," and it's like, they're like, it's an artifact. It's like, okay, but did you plant that artifact? Like, be so for real right now.
Yeah, or it's like when Zionists are like, "Hey, you will be thrown off a cliff if you're gay." But Hamas. I'm like, I'm sorry, but interfaith marriages and same-sex marriages are illegal in Israel. They're recognized, but
The
you
interfaith
cannot
one
move there.
The interfaith one is insane because it's like,
Yes.
if you're a Christian,
What about Christian and Jews can't get married then? Because there's mostly a lot of Christians in the area.
You have to go to a different country and get married.
So that's why I don't understand why people are like, well, Hamas will throw you off a cliff if you're gay. I'm like, you can't even get married.
It's also not Hamas that does that.
Yeah.
It's like Hamas obviously not good for gay people. Not saying Hamas is good for gay people. There's been a lot of people. What the big thing is, one of the things is that with Hamas, the Israelis made sure that like Shin Bet and stuff will give lists of supposedly gay people in Gaza. Like if you don't give into what they were doing with blackmail and stuff like that, if you don't give into that, they'll give your name to Hamas and say this is a gay person. But the thing isn't necessarily being gay. It's the fear that gay people can be blackmailed by Shin Bet and by Mossad. And obviously, like, there's an Islamist component to it. And I'm not like, it's definitely not great to be gay in Gaza, but you're far more likely to get killed by Israeli bombs, I think, than you are to be killed by Hamas.
with their smaller warning bombs too before they drop the big one.
But the big ones, the two places that really actually do throw people up, it's like number one, ISIS, obviously, because they're the same people, and Hamas has fought ISIS. They're not on the same side of any of those conflicts.
Yeah,
like the same way that the IRGC has fought ISIS. Like the IRGC and ISIS are not friends. And they all get put into like the same category. And it's like
because they're Islamists. They're all in the Middle East. And I'm like, guys, Sunni and Shia Muslims have been battling each other before we did regime change. I'm like, guys, they're not all on the. You really think Lutherans or Protestants or Catholics? It's the same thing with like Christianity and Catholicism.
Yeah, but it's not with ISIS. When ISIS rose, it got even farther than like sectarianism, which definitely is a part of it, to the point where it's ISIS just would kill anybody that's not ISIS. Yeah, it's like it's far more like gang warfare than it is like classic sectarian warfare, which definitely is a thing, but like isn't what ISIS is doing. And also, like, we kind of created ISIS.
Yeah. Like, don't be getting mad when a new terrorist group pops up that we created via, regime change and bombing.
And also just literally giving guns to the people that became ISIS.
Yeah, I mean, look at the fucking like Iran, contract that we discussed. Also, too, a lot of people are finding that Chris Christopherson did a song dedicated to the Sandinistas, and I'm like, fuck yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Bring back outlaw country. I'm tired of this country crap.
I hate that I can't hear Chris Christopherson though without thinking of the Eminem line where he was like, "Have you heard of Chris Christopherson?" Well, me, I'm Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like I don't know, like there's a thing with like literally just during the surge in Iraq, like we kept giving weapons to people that would just turn around and then became literally ISIS. Like we armed the people who were very angry at the time about our as probably they should have been, but those are the people that made up the base of ISIS support after that. And it's like, damn, we kind of like it got blamed on Obama, but it's US policy in general, like that goes over the I don't know. So it's just
we're not smart. We
Yeah.
never had a good we really like when I think about like the U.S. intervening other countries, I'm like, it's never been a good result, really, if you think about it.
I mean, why would it be?
It never has. I mean, when people talk about like South America, I'm like, oh, you mean like when Pinochet got involved and also had Nazis help him? Like, I don't think that ended really well for.
Yeah. Well, Pinochet kind of turned Chile into like a laboratory for experimenting with neoliberal policy, and it's like,
Yeah.
But then that just got exported to the United States after that because they were like, look how good it's doing in Chile.
Yeah, so
like,
good even a dictator did it, you know?
Well, then you also have we watched The Secret Agent, and it's like just a few years after that, they're already exporting that same kind of economic policy to Brazil.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it goes around the world. You can trace it around the world. In the same way that even the UAE has people that are like committed neoliberals at this point.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I think we hit all the points.
Yeah.
It's just insane to think about the whole thing about southern Lebanon being just pieces and pieces getting taken, and it's like a lot of the more secular Israelis will just deny that Greater Israel is their plan. And it's but then
it's not the same thing as Russia and Ukraine, completely different. But I'm like, is it though?
But they're taking bit by bit of the same land that and then there's people like the settlers, I forget that lady's name that Louis Theroux did the documentary with, and she's been on Piers Morgan a bunch, which I don't know what I don't know what it does to give that lady space. What's her name? Weiss, her name Daniela Weiss. There's the head of the settler community in the West Bank, which you're allowed to talk about how the settlers are radical extremists or whatever, but you're only allowed to talk about the settlers. You're not allowed to connect it to the broader project of Zionism. And for some reason, even in Israel too, you'll have Israeli politicians occasionally be like, no, but then you have Ben Gvir and you have Smotrich, and they're in Netanyahu's cabinet, and they're part of the settler movement, and I don't know. That has to be treated like a radical fringe. And it's I don't think that's a radical fringe. If they're in government at that level, they're not a radical fringe.
Yeah. We shall see how this all plays out. And we already know it's not going to be good.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was just thinking about that. And I was thinking about you see that same plan being built up piece by piece. They've already taken more of Syria.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we need a buffer zone from the people that were installed. And you also have, they're already saying Turkey is the new Iran. And we haven't even.
Oh, yeah. I've already seen the stupid, people make it I'm against this war, but here's the war we're doing with Turkey in 2032 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Naftali Bennett, who was the president, who's the American president of Israel. He was working for Silicon Valley for a long time. Naftali Bennett was telling a crowd of people that he was talking in front of that Turkey's the new Iran. It's don't you want to finish the war with Iran before finding a new Iran?
Yeah, what the
then they're gonna be well, someone else is the new Turkey. But the thing about that is that Turkey's literally in NATO. What happens when they do declare a war on Turkey, and then Turkey invokes Article 5, and then we have to that is going to destroy NATO, which I mean I don't like NATO, so that's fine, but it's going to just it's going to create such a fucking geopolitical crisis.
Yeah.
And you just see them purposely pushing towards it, and it's all because of Turkey backing Jelani in Syria, and they're oh, right on our doorstep. It's all right, well, this seems it's building a crisis that doesn't need to happen. Another one, right? Already, Iran as a crisis didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
They're 2 weeks away. They've been 2 weeks away for 30 years.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a bomb and they're gonna have their first nuke in 2 weeks. 2 weeks away. And it's been 30 years of them saying it's 2 weeks away, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah, the fact that people still fall for this, I'm okay.
All right. Well, we can call it there. I think we're taking a break for a couple weeks on streaming. I mean, you're gonna be streaming, but
yeah,
I'm taking a couple week break. I need one. The Oscar season did me in.
Yeah, but Conan really did most of the work.
Yeah, but I was there.
Yeah, so was I. But the show must go on for me.
Yeah. But yeah, we can call it there.
Yep. See y'all later.